You don't realise how much a game truly means to you until it becomes nostalgic. That game can grow to represent your childhood, a moment in time, a change in your life, or a place of escape. And that's why today I'm going to talk about Starcraft and why it means so much to me. On this channel, I won't just be uploading videos of me playing games, but I'm also going to be talking about games that are near and dear to my heart and why. And with that being said, let's talk about Starcraft. So my journey with Starcraft starts with me at 5 years old. I found Starcraft on an old demo disc for my old home computer and I fell in love with it pretty quickly. It showed me the world of RTS gaming. On that demo, it was purely a campaign level. You played as the Terran, which were the human race, and you were fighting the alien race known as the Zerg. And at the time, being only 5 years old, I found this quite an intense and scary experience, but I was gripped at the same time. I was building up armies. I was telling them to go out and destroy the aliens, and something about that really stirred something in me, and I realised that I liked to control units and build bases, particularly the building. And I used to play it mostly the campaign when I finally got the full game, but I also played single player skirmishes against the bots and a little bit online, but mostly against bots. But then that sort of just laid the foundation for me to grow a more fondness and love for the RTS genre in general, and I grew on to continue playing other RTS games such as Command and Conquer Generals. Obviously I went on to play Starcraft II and many other games like Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, lots of base building games. The list goes on, there are many games. So my relationship with Starcraft kind of dwindled until the announcement of Starcraft II in 2009, and I thought, oh, this looks amazing, and the game was scheduled for release in 2010, and I was so excited to get that game. That was a 100% buy for me. And the thing is, I grew up playing on Apple Mac, and not many games were actually released on Apple Mac apart from Blizzard games. They always came out on Mac, so I knew that Starcraft was going to be a good one and I was going to be able to play it. So fast forward to the Starcraft II release, and it was fantastic. It was everything that I could have hoped for in a follow-up to Starcraft. I thought it was fantastic, and I loved playing through the campaign, but the most of the time where I spent on Starcraft was on its multiplayer. So just looking at my account, I've played over 4,000 multiplayer games. I don't know how much time that is in hours, but it's quite a long time. Most of those games were played during the first few years of the game releasing, not so many since, but I've played it a lot, it's safe to say. And most of those games were on team games. I used to love playing 4v4 or 3v3, and that's where I first experienced my big team battle. I remember my very first game I was playing as Terran, and I remember massing up Thors, which are these big mech units, and going out there and going into a big team battle, and I thought this was completely epic. This was the most fun that I'd ever had in a game, commanding the armies and seeing the huge battle. And the best thing about it, my friends got involved after that. That's when I really became addicted to playing Starcraft II. When my friends started playing and we started playing competitive 3v3 as a team and we play it in person, those were some good days. I tell you what, I really loved playing that. Then it got to the point where I needed to hand in my work for college, and it was all printed out, binded, and then I decided to just stay around my friends and play Starcraft instead. It's kind of ridiculous looking back, and I think I regretted it within the next 24 hours. But the moment I made that decision and we all loaded up Starcraft and carried on playing, I loved it. But yes, we were very into it. That led to me watching content creators on YouTube such as Day9, such as Husky Starcraft, such as Total Biscuit Starcraft, such as HD Starcraft. I used to watch them all and I used to love consuming content. Day9 in particular would teach you all sorts of things, what units do what damage they do, what armor types they are, build orders, counter build orders, movement tips, all sorts of stuff, and I absolutely loved delving deep on those topics and getting better at StarCraft. And then we started making our own videos because we was just so into it. It was like a world of content, and that content made you more hyped about it because there was just this community that were all really wanting to improve and play StarCraft, and that feeling of the whole community coming together, making videos, talking about it, playing online. We started making our own videos. It built a lot of hype within me, at least. It made me want to play StarCraft so much more. And we started going into the world chat on StarCraft and saying, who wants to do 1v1? We'll record it and cast it. Those videos are still online, and I won't be going into those because they're a bit embarrassing to look at now, but it's a time capsule, and I'll say that. It's interesting to be able to go back and look at what I was doing all that time ago. 14 years ago now, Starcraft II came out. Soon to be 15 years. Wow. The time goes by way too quickly. Makes me feel old. But anyway, I just really liked it. And then I got really into the esports scene as well. And that's mainly because of YouTube. Being able to watch these pro matches, seeing the professional games casted. I used to love watching those. And then you could watch the pros and try out their build orders, try it online. And not only that, but in StarCraft 2 itself, you could add them and go into their game history and look at their build orders there. So you could literally look at what they were doing now, and if a pro would pop up online, you'd have them on your friends list and you could have a look at what's going on. I think one of the times I went against one was I think it was a 4v4. I came across a professional StarCraft player called Beastie QT, and then I was able to right click add friend, and then I was able to essentially track what Beastie QT was doing on StarCraft, and then it was a case of who could get the most pros on their friends list and be able to stalk them. But it's nice to be able to look at their build orders and see what they were doing. So I was making my own YouTube videos, I was playing the game, we were playing it in person. Tell you what, there's nothing like playing StarCraft 3v3 in person with your teammates sat right next to you. Yes, you could communicate over Discord or Skype or whatever it was back then, probably pre-Discord, but there's nothing like actually just speaking to your teammates right next to you, sitting either side and playing the game. That's just some fantastic gaming memories there. I absolutely loved that. So it wasn't just the competitive multiplayer, there were custom games as well, like Tower Defense. Tower Defense in particular was one of my favourites, and all sorts of other custom games like RPG games and line battles where you just send units to fight each other and all sorts of stuff. Many things carried over from the predecessor Warcraft 3 that had plenty of these custom games already, but a lot of them were ported over to Starcraft 2. And some of those games even became standalone games. For instance, in terms of Tower Defense, you have Legion Tower Defense 2, which is now on Steam. I believe Elemental Tower Defense became its own game. Let alone talking about Defense of the Ancients and all that. Just Tower Defense alone, they became their own games too. So the custom games have always been a big part of StarCraft and a big draw for those of you who are interested in that. And sometimes competitive games can get a bit draining, so it's nice to have the custom games as the option. And not only that, that wasn't only the biggest change from StarCraft 1, although there was custom games in StarCraft 1. There's also the achievement system, and for some reason achievements just play on my mind and tell me to do these stupid things that I didn't want to do and might even be detrimental to my gaming experience, and now I've got to go out there and do them just because the achievement tells me to do them. StarCraft 2 had that, and I always get this pipe dream in my mind temporarily, I need to get all the achievements. I really don't, but I used to get that feeling. Some of them I ticked off, but I don't have all the achievements. I won't ever get all the achievements because it's pointless. But they're there and it makes you want to get these pointless achievements. So achievements, that's a whole different topic. I'm not a big fan of achievements. I feel like it can waste your time, make you do things you don't want to do. But some of those achievements I did go out of my way to get, and you do get things like portraits in Starcraft II. But over time, Starcraft II has sort of waned in popularity. It's not the same as it was. The game and the gameplay is still very good. It's one of the nicest feeling games to play. It's very responsive. If you click somewhere, the units will go there immediately. You can select things easily, set up hotkeys, jot around the map. Things happen when you press the button. So it's very satisfying to play. But overall, the game is just not in the same sort of state that it used to be. I mean, like I said, it's already 14 years old. It is an old game. So support has sort of waned over the years. There's not as many players anymore. For instance, the other day I wanted to play this game mode with my friend called Archon mode, which is where you both control one base, and because I just love building. I do like Starcraft 2, I like it a lot, but my favourite thing is just the base building, and something very satisfying about building and spending all your money and keeping your minerals and gas as low as possible so you can build as many units and feel efficient in doing that. And that's why I love Archon, because a lot of people don't like the building. They just like moving the units. So that complements me very well. So I'd like to play Archon mode. There's no one playing it. Sit there for 10 minutes. No one clicks search. It got to the point when I just decided to load it up on the other computer, click search on Archon mode, just to see what would happen. Lo and behold, we get maps of each other. There is no one playing it, and I want to play Archon mode. I want to base build in StarCraft. That is the mode for me. But there's no one playing it because the player base is just small now. It's an old game. But there was a giant esports tournament for $1 million recently, so it is strange. But Blizzard don't really want to support the game, even though it's one of their biggest games. It just doesn't generate them the money that makes it worthwhile for them. So the game is just going to slowly decline from here. But it's not all sad because it's still available. You can still load up StarCraft to this very day. StarCraft II is indeed free as well, so you can download the game and play it. Get on the ladder if you want. I believe you have to pay if you want to play the campaign. The campaign is pretty good, but the game is there if you want to play it. So at least we have that. You can jump on and play custom games. But yes, so that was StarCraft, and that was sort of my life with StarCraft. And if you like this video, give it a like. And thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more.